How we all doing? How we all doing? I literally was not going to go live, but I felt so inspired. I'm like, you know what? Let's fucking do it, man. Like, literally, I was not gonna go live at all. I already went live earlier. I posted it, but I'm feeling inspired, so I'm like, yo, let's get it. So I may upload this one. We'll see. I think I probably will. But anyways, let's talk about it real quick. So I just got a comment on one of my more recent videos where someone was like, it shouldn't take months or years if you're staying persistent and are living from the end. And of course I put this person in place, okay? I put them in place with my valuable words of wisdom, okay? Nah, I'm just playing with you. But seriously, it was a respectful reply back to this person, I would say. Just letting them know that that's misinformation pretty much, and that it's a little bit discouraging to sit there and openly say something like that on someone's post. Truth is, guys, that if it's taking months or years, it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something wrong, okay? And this whole notion of it shouldn't take XYZ amount of time if you're doing XYZ, it's very discouraging, it's very inaccurate to say, and it's misinformation, okay? Because there are literally thousands upon thousands of people that are living from the end, that are staying persistent, and for many of those people, it still has taken months or longer, okay? So this whole notion of it shouldn't take longer than XYZ, it's not true, because the thing is, if that were true, then that would mean that there's one time frame for pretty much everything to be experienced when it comes to manifestation. Number one, how the fuck can anybody determine that? Number one. And number two, that's very limiting. God is not limited to just one single time frame for every little thing. That's ridiculous. That's foolish. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that. Like, there's no absolute time frame, okay? For many of you guys, if you're, and I'm going to do my best to let people know not to comment things like that in my post, because I know it's discouraging. It's discouraging to be like, okay, it shouldn't take long. You've been at this for 6 months, you know, you've been doing good. It should have happened right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's discouraging. But, the thing is, getting back on track, if it's been, let's say that it's been like 5 months, okay? You've been manifesting this thing. It's been 5 months. You've been living from the end for, let's say, 4 of those 5 months. You've been living from the end. You've gotten some movement. You've gotten a couple indicators, maybe like seeing their name out of the blue or seeing that specific money amount. But it just so happens to be 5 months, okay? And then let's say on that 6th month, you finally received the desire. So just because I was living from the end and staying persistent, you know, I had the signs. Just because it's been 5 months means that I did it wrong, even though I received it on that 6th month. Come on, guys. Let's. I don't know if that example makes sense. I hope I did, but come on, let's be real here. All right. Anybody who's sitting there saying, "Oh, it's been months. It's been 2 months. It's been a year. You're doing it wrong." Blah blah blah. Like, they can't even say that. They can't even claim that, because how the hell are you gonna claim something like that when you yourself, number one, don't even know when your own manifestations are gonna come in, and number two, are clearly not understanding that everybody has their own reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing. If it was true that manifestation is like one big time frame for everything, doesn't that kind of dismiss the whole idea of individual realities? Doesn't that kind of dismiss that? Because to suggest that there's one ultimate time frame for every single thing would suggest that there's like one reality when it comes to that, which goes against what most law of assumption coaches teach, which is we all have, there's infinite realities, there's infinite potential, infinite possibility. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, there's a lot of contradiction, bro. You know, like, oh, by the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them down below, but it's a big contradiction. It's like, there is no absolute anything, really, other than the fact that maybe you're always manifesting. Okay, I would say the only absolutes when it comes to everything is, number one, that you are in fact God, the infinite source experiencing itself, and number two, everybody's always gonna be yourself pushed out. And number three, well, I guess number one and number two go hand in hand. And number three is the fact that, there is no absolute one time frame for everything. And number four is the fact that you're always manifesting. You know what I'm saying? I would say those are the only absolutes when it comes to really all of life. And maybe if you want to incorporate the whole idea that we all have our own realities, then yeah. But those are just constants, man. Those are fucking constants. Those are things that can't be turned off. You know, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because the law of assumption states that what you assume to be true is going to be true no matter what. So if that's the case, if I assume that nobody is myself pushed out, does that mean that's a fact in my world? I don't think so, because just because you assume, because people are still showing up, it's weird, right? People are still showing up as a reflection of that assumption being made. So just because, I think that's kind of a loophole with the whole idea that, you know, law of assumption states what you assume to be true, anything. That's kind of like a little contradiction there now, isn't it? And I'm not hating, I'm just kind of, I'm really thinking about it. I'm in my thinking mode. Do you think divine timing exists? Me personally, I don't believe in it. I don't believe that there's an outside force that is dictating for you. Like something outside of you that's like, oh, you got to raise your vibration first and then you manifest it. Or you got to be on the same frequency, you got to have a great self-concept and then you manifest it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't believe in that. I do not believe in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really thinking about that. Like, I be getting deep with this shit sometimes, but it's like, fuck, man. It's awesome. Hey, Jay, how you doing? Did I just find a big contradiction in the law of assumption? Like, it's crazy because they say that point blank period, and no matter what. I've had the same self-concept that manifests with 5 people, but even then what? But, it's like, even if you assume that nobody is yourself pushed out, everybody still is yourself pushed out, which is kind of crazy because that kind of goes against the whole idea of whatever you assume to be true is what's going to be true. But I'm sure that someone maybe has an explanation in regards to that. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, okay, everybody's yourself pushed out. That's a constant. That's something that's happening always, right? Or you manifesting is something that's always happening. So the law of assumption states that what you assume to be true is what's going to be true no matter what, right? So if I assume that I'm never going to be able to manifest again, is that something that's going to happen? No, because how can it if we're always going to be manifesting no matter what? You know what I'm saying? Which I think goes back to kind of what I was saying, you know, in previous videos and lecture, well, little speeches that I give on the community tab, is that there are just certain aspects of God, the infinite source, that are always going to be in effect. And I guess this pretty much proves it, man, because you can't turn manifesting off even if you assume that you're turning it off. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the law of assumption really is a byproduct of this infinite source, and there are certain things that are just playing out regardless on if you assume it to be true or not. Regardless on if you believe it to be true or not. It's very interesting stuff, man. Very interesting stuff. If anybody has any comments, feel free. Keep it respectful, of course. Seriously, any disrespectful comments, you get blocked off my page, and I'm deleting the comments. So, just had to say that. But yeah. But anyways, guys, I don't know. I'm kind of in my head right now. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, it's kind of hot. If anybody has any more questions, post them down below. Yeah, you know, in my opinion, because everybody always wants to know how to speed up the process, you know. I even wondered that myself at one point. And I've found that truly the best way to speed up the process is to stop focusing on time and the how. Live your life to the fullest, your best life. And come from unconditional love when it comes to manifesting as a whole. And, of course, having a healthy self-concept. These things can help speed up the process, in my opinion. You know, because if you have a healthy self-concept, you're not going to be having much negative feelings or really, most likely, not negative experiences either, because you're going to most likely be in the state of trust and all that, of just knowing everything's working out for you. But also, you're not going to have much negative thoughts anymore. And those are all great benefits of improving your self-concept. But because you're not going to be having so many negative thoughts, you're not going to be wondering when it's going to happen. Which I do consider a negative thought if you're sitting there and be like, oh, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Oh, blah, blah, blah. So that's number one. Number two, coming from unconditional love, obviously, is it's a given, because at the core of all things, we are this healthy, universal, unconditional love, you know, experiencing itself. So that's a given. And of course, what you focus on expands and grows, right? So the more you keep focusing on time over and over and over again, you may actually add more time to it. So if you stop focusing on time and just know that it's done right now, you're basically telling your mind that it's here now. Like, literally, it's here now. So it's going to bring it to you now. You know what I'm saying? So many different things you could do. All right, guys. I'm going to hop up out of here. I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know, make a few calls. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. I know I will. And stay safe, stay loved, and feel free, share these lives with people, guys. You know, I upload them, and they're all on a playlist list. Maybe people will benefit from them. And of course, if you want to work with me, reach out to me on Instagram, Live From The End with Joey. Same handle as YouTube. Or reach out to me on Yahoo, livefromtheend@yahoo.com. I will help you. I do have a sale going on, a 1-hour call that you can split up into 2 30-minute calls for $70. Normally, it's $150. Or I have email coaching, 5 days, unlimited access to me for $45 at the moment, normally $100. And both of those sales are going to be ending on Sunday. So if you want to take advantage, now's the time to do it, all right? So beautiful day, guys. Have a beautiful day, and stay safe, okay?